class, we're working on functional mobility. And what is important to note about increasing your mobility is it's about the stress that's held in your joints and tissues. It's not about pulling or pushing the muscles. So if you really want to release the stress that's held in the body, you have to take deep, conscious breaths, especially focusing on lengthening and extending the exhale. So start with 3 big breaths from the belly all the way up to the chest first. Big breath in, slow breath out. You can even add an SH, which will help you slow down that exhale. So you inhale, exhale, maybe even an HA, inhale, exhale. So feel free to add these breaths in as we go through the movement to make sure that your body knows it's safe enough to release and open up. Let's start with a ragdoll forward fold. So inhale, reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling, big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Allow the knees to bend so that you release the low back and you can release the head. Breathing directly into the back now. You can hold opposite elbows, which adds a little bit of weight. Imagining that the head is an anchor and the spine is the chain that's attached to the anchor, extending and lengthening as the anchor becomes heavier, floating down to the bottom of the ocean. You can sway from side to side a little bit. You can wiggle the toes, a little tiny bounce in the knees maybe. Weight back, weight forward, weight side to side. The longer we're here, the bigger we breathe, the more we'll release. If you have something with you like books, water bottle, or even yoga blocks, you can place those under the hands as well to bring the floor up to you and gives you something to lean on. What we're trying not to do is to hang from the joints. So as long as you feel as if you're not hanging, then you can stay in this position, breathe into it, continue to allow the release to happen. Two more breaths. Maybe nodding the head yes and no. And letting the arms release now from the ragdoll position if they're not there already. And we're going to transition to squat pose to open up our hips. Turn the knees and toes to a 10 and 2 position. The feet should be wider than the hips so that the heels stay on the floor. And now lower your hips all the way down to they're in between the heels. The elbows come to the inside of the thighs and put the fist inside the palm, using the elbows to press the thighs apart, lifting the chest up. And now again, instead of sitting in the joints or hanging in the joints, squeeze the pelvic muscles and lift up 1/4 of an inch so you're engaging the muscles that are around the joints. If this is difficult or you're not quite here yet with the mobility in your hips, there are a couple of alternatives. You can take a block or anything else that you can lift up and place under your pelvis to sit on. So you can sit on something here. You can also lift even further up to do a horse position. Horse position is more strengthening than it is mobility, but if this is as far down as you can go right now, great. Stay here, hold little by little. You can get your pelvis down a little bit more to find the full squat position. 2 more breaths here. And then lower your hands to the floor, lift your butt up, spin the heels away from each other and back to a wide-legged forward fold. Let's move into lizard position. Take the right foot forward and the left leg back for lizard. In lizard position, the front foot is to the outside of the hands and to the outside edge of your mat. So instead of the foot and leg being right in the center of our chest and nose, it's over to the right. And you're going to spin your toes and knee out to about a 2 o'clock position, which is going to give more space for your pelvis and your left thigh to move down towards the floor, opening up the front of the left thigh, externally rotating the right hip. making sure that your ankle is all the way up underneath your knee and your knee isn't bending too far over the toes. You can release your head here, relax your jaw, and if you have the space, you can come down to one or both forearms. You can even place a sweatshirt or block underneath your forearms to lift the floor up to you. Again, we have to give our body enough time in all of these postures to allow it to open up. A couple seconds trying to get your nose to touch your toes is not going to do anything but threaten and tighten the body up. Remember to have those big, big breaths. And then inhale, come up to your hands. And exhale, move the pelvis back towards the left heel and extend the front leg to a half split. Don't worry about the name of this, half split. We don't need to find this full split position with our legs. All it is extending the front leg as much as you can, opening up the back of the right leg, trying as best you can to find the extension in the spine. You can take blocks under your hands, or you can even take your hands to the inside of your right leg if it's easier to balance that way. Imagining the chest is moving towards the flexed right toes. The right toes are moving back towards the chest. And continue to imagine the spine is elongating as long as the right leg. And then bending back through the right knee. Let's move to pigeon pose. How we get to pigeon pose from here is to heel toe the right foot over to the left side of your mat and lower the shin bone and knee to the floor, spiraling the left thigh inward so the left hip point is facing down toward the right heel. And now start to scooch the left leg back, slide it back to help bring the right shin bone closer to the top of the mat. And here again, just like in lizard position, you can release to your forearms. If pigeon is not going to be good on your hips or your front knee or your back knee, the equivalent here would be a figure 4. So you can lie down on your back or you can sit down and cross the right ankle over the left thigh and target the same area of the piriformis, the outside of the butt and hip. From here, inhale, come back up to your hands. Now listen, the right leg is going to stay bent like this, but you're going to turn to your left and get your sit bones to sit on the floor and extend your left leg out to the corner of the room. So the bottom of the right foot is coming to the inside of the left thigh. This is a half seated, wide-legged forward fold. Taking your hands behind you to help lift your chest up and keep your spine extended. And then seeing if you can really rotate from the hips versus rounding the spine. So walk your hands closer and closer to your pelvis, which helps your pelvis sit up straight. And eventually you might be walking your fingers forward, rotating your pelvis so that your chest moves forward towards the floor. Again, take your time with this. The goal isn't nose to the floor. The goal is to rotate the pelvis, keeping the spine as long as possible. And now make your way to a downward facing dog. Good. We have the other side to do. So now you're going to take your left foot and place it to the outside edge of the mat for lizard on the other side. Lowering the back knee down to the floor. Opening up your knee and toes to the 10 o'clock position, making sure the ankle is underneath the knee. Opening up the front of the right hip and quad. And each time you exhale, the pelvis gets a little bit heavier and weighted down toward the mat, relaxing the head. Maybe come to the forearms if that's available. The key to mobility is release, not pushing or pulling, but releasing the stress, the tightness that's in the joints and the tissues because of life experience. The body is simply reflecting what's happening in the mind and the nervous system. Checking in on your breath, making sure that it's still nice and big and deep and long, maybe adding the SH or the HA exhale, especially if you're really feeling some resistance in the body. And then coming back up to the hands. And as you exhale, send the pelvis back toward the back heel. It stops right above the knee, extending the front leg for a half split. Now look at your front foot. Can you make sure that you're pulling the pinky toe back towards your shoulder and you're pressing the left big toe mound forward? That's going to allow you to feel this stretch in a different part of the back of the leg, really where you need it, probably around the knee joint. Remember, you can take your hands to the inside of the leg or bring your hands up on a sweatshirt or block if that helps you for balance. When you start to feel that resistance, that tightness, notice how we want to hold the breath and grip the jaw. Instead, can you dive into that long, long exhale? Maybe incorporate the SH or HA. And then return to a lunge position just in time to transition to pigeon pose. So the left foot will heel toe over to the right side so you can lower the shin bone down, spinning the right hip point to face the floor, sliding the right leg back so you have a nice long space in your body to release down to the forearms, letting the head drop. And again, you always have the alternative of a figure four position. 3 to 5 breaths here. Is there any more release you can do before we come out of this position? And then inhale, come up to the hands. Swivel onto your hips, extending your right leg to the corner, bottom of the left foot to the inside of the thigh. Flex the foot. Press the hands back to lift the chest. You're coming to the front edge of your butt bones. And now take the breaths that you are sitting here to begin to evolve the posture, maybe moving it forward, maybe not. If you're feeling a lot of resistance in your inner thighs and your spine is nice and tall, great to take your breath just in this position, working on letting go to this edge. Any more you can give, any more with the breath. Doesn't always have to be physical. When we go deeper into postures, it could be deeper with our focus. And then let's swing the legs around so we can lie on our belly. For our last position, to open up our chest and shoulders. Take the left hand underneath the left shoulder and extend the right arm directly out to the side. External rotation, which means you're really pressing on the pinky finger side of your right hand. Bend the left knee so the foot faces up towards the ceiling, and then press on the left hand to open up the body to the left. You can take your left foot all the way behind you and press it on the floor. And you can even press on the bottom of the left foot to lift the hips up and scooch them closer to the center of the mat. Or if this isn't accessible to you, you can of course just drape the left leg on top of the right leg. The focus here is the inside of the right shoulder and the pec, the right pec muscle. Breathe here. And let's switch to the other side. You exhale to roll down to your belly. You inhale to bend the right elbow. Exhale, extend the left. And bend the right knee, opening up to the other side. Breathing directly into where you're feeling the resistance. And this is your last opportunity to really dive into those big breaths. So let's take 3 more giant breaths in the torso. Maybe adding that extended exhale of shh or and then come back to the belly as you exhale. Inhale, hands underneath the shoulders, and exhale, press back to child's pose. The butt comes to the heels, the torso relaxes on the thighs. Relax the arms too. Take a big breath in the back of the body. Slow exhale. And this is where we'll end. Hi guys, I'm Olivia, founder of Yoga for First Responders, or YFFR. YFFR is here to provide you with accessible training for processing stress, building resilience, and enhancing performance. Several studies show that yoga and meditation are one of the best ways to protect yourself from stress-based health issues that can result from the job in public safety. Yoga techniques such as tactical breathing, strength and mobility, and recovery and mindfulness will also put your mind, body, and nervous system in the best place possible for a long, successful, and enjoyable career. The best way to feel these benefits is to practice consistently. The more often you practice, the better you'll feel. Our videos and live classes make yoga accessible, especially if your schedule is busy or unpredictable, if you are new to yoga or experienced with yoga, but looking for an offering that is job-specific and culturally informed. We have over 100 yoga and meditation videos for you on our online platform, videos of all lengths and challenge levels. We also have live classes with our trained instructors. I'd like to send you our Foundations Challenge as a free gift to get you started. Click the link in the first comment below this video. Enter your name and email, and I'll instantly send you 3 videos to start you off on your yoga training. If you liked this video that you just did, hit the thumbs up and tell me what you liked about it in the comments. Then subscribe so you don't miss any of the new videos we release. Click the link below, and we'll be seeing you soon.